The region known as the Great Plains, stretching east of the Rocky Mountains in the United States and Canada, has been home to many different Indian tribes with each of its own peculiarities and traditions. Among the different North American tribes, the Comanche Nation was one of the most active and powerful. They inhabited the territories that today comprise of north-central Texas, eastern New Mexico, southeastern Colorado, southwestern Kansas, and western Oklahoma. The Spanish colonizers called the historic territory the Comanche. Originally, the Comanches were part of a group of tribes known as the Eastern Shoshone, who lived mainly in the Wyoming region and shared the same language and customs. The Shoshone kept a very similar lifestyle to that of the ancient hunters and gatherers of prehistoric times, living as nomads and without notable military might. This was bound to change with the arrival of the Spanish conquistadors. Around the year 15, the Europeans had brought firearms, and particularly horses, to the American continent, which brought great changes to the culture of the native peoples. The command of horses gave the Comanche tactical superiority against other neighboring tribes that did not yet have these animals. The Comanche split from the Shoshone with about 10,000 members. They first migrated to the Central Plains before proceeding south to an area that stretched from the Arkansas River to central Texas. As they continued to migrate, the Comanche population increased dramatically due to the plentiful buffalo. Thanks to the horses, yet again, they could be hunted down more easily and become the Comanche's primary source of food. As their population grew and a war-based culture developed, the Comanche soon became the most feared warriors in the territory. They were renowned for their savagery in combat and their great skill as horsemen. They were also dreaded for their habit of kidnapping people and mistreating them in a very cruel way, considering their captives as slaves or commodities to be exchanged for furs and horses. The Comanche fought against the Apache and pushed them out of the plains. By the end of the 18th century, the struggle between Comanche and Apache had taken on legendary proportions. In 1780, for the governor of Texas, Domingo Cabello, wrote that the Apaches had been defeated on the southern plains in a battle that lasted 9 days, somewhere in northwestern Texas. The Comanche Indians often resorted to night raids against their enemies as a tactic. This was usually on full moon nights, when visibility was better, allowing the Comanche to see their routes. This led to the English term Comanche moon, when the Comanche would attack to capture horses, hostages, and weapons. Unlike other indigenous lineages, such as the Cheyenne and Arapaho, the Comanche never constituted a political unit recognized by all members. They instead divided themselves into self-sufficient tribes, pursuing their economic and political goals, sharing the same language and culture. They sometimes fought amongst themselves, and other times they were at peace, working together. In the 19th century, they became involved in stealing cattle from settlers in Texas, reselling them in New Mexico. They fought against the Mexicans and European settlers and many of the other Plains tribes during this period, having ruled the area of Texas, including northwestern Oklahoma and northeastern New Mexico. The Comanche were so successful in the art of horse taming that they started supplying horses to French and American traders. During the 19th century, the traditional Comanche burial practice was to wrap the body of the deceased in a blanket and lay it on a horse behind the rider. He would then ride off to find a suitable burial place, such as a safe cave. After the burial, the rider would return to the camp, where the brave relatives would burn all the deceased belongings. This custom lasted until Christian missionaries coaxed the Comanche to bury their dead in coffins and cemeteries. Also during the 19th century, the Comanche managed to maintain their independence and even increase their territory. Soon, however, this area of prosperity would be gravely affected by a wave of epidemics due to Eurasian diseases, for which the Comanche had no immunity, such as smallpox and measles. Smallpox and cholera outbreaks occurred between 1817 and 1849, had a major impact on the Comanche, whose population dropped from about 20,000 to only 7,000. In the 1860s, the efforts to move the Comanche to a reservation in the Oklahoma Indian Territory began. The American government provided them with churches, schools, and annuities in exchange for a vast expanse of land, totaling more than 60,000 square miles. The Americans also promised to stop the buffalo hunters who were decimating the large herds on the plains, under the condition that the Comanche, along with the Apache Kiowa, Cheyenne and Arapaho would leave their land. But the government did not stop the slaughter of herds, and the Comanche fought back by attacking a hunting party in Texas. This conflict became known as the Second Battle of Adobe Walls. The attack was a disaster for the Comanche, and the United States Army was called in during the Red River War to suppress the remaining Comanche in the area, forcefully removing them to the Indian reservation. In just 10 years, the buffalo were on the brink of extinction, essentially ending the Comanche way of life as hunters. In May 1875, the last free Comanche group surrendered and moved to the Fort Sill Reservation in Oklahoma. The 1890 census revealed that there are only 1,598 Comanche on the Fort Sill Reservation during World War II. Many Comanche left the traditional tribal lands in Oklahoma looking for jobs and further opportunities in the Californian cities. About half of the Comanche population still lives in Oklahoma, with the rest scattered throughout Texas, California, and New Mexico. These days, many Comanches from all of the United States meet in annual gatherings to celebrate their heritage and culture.